Good evening and welcome to Sunday's 6-1, the headlines. 12 people dead in terrorist attack on Jewish community celebrating Hanukkah on Sydney's Bondi Beach.
An act of evil anti-Semitism, terrorism that has struck the heart of our nation.
Taoiseach condemns appalling attack. Gardaí to increase patrols at Jewish centres here in wake of the shootings. 3 people have died in 2 separate road crashes in County Tipperary in the last 24 hours. 14 fishermen are airlifted to safety in dramatic rescue operation near Dingle after trawler loses power and is driven onto the rocks.
In Sunday's sports news, 4 medals for Ireland at the European Cross Country Championships, including senior silver and under-23 gold. And Athenry and St Finbarrs must meet again after All-Ireland Club Camogie final ends in a draw.
Australia's Prime Minister has described this morning's shooting attack at Bondi Beach in Sydney, in which 12 people were killed, including one of the 2 gunmen, as an evil act of anti-Semitism. 29 others were injured. World leaders condemned the attack, which targeted Australia's Jewish community as they celebrated Hanukkah. New South Wales police have declared it a terrorist incident. Israeli leaders accused Australia's government of failing to do enough to combat rising anti-Semitism.
Gunshots heard on Australia's world-famous beach. Crowds running in panic after a shooting started at Bondi Beach in Sydney just before 7 p.m. local time.
I just heard what sounded like fireworks going off, and it was just multiple going off. So I sort of opened the blind to see what was going on, and I just saw an older lady get shot, and she was on the floor. Saw an older guy get shot, badly injured on the left-hand side, and I just saw a bunch of people screaming, running towards me. I didn't know what was going on.
The deadly attack took place at the Archer Park next to the Bondi Pavilion, where families gathered to celebrate the beginning of Hanukkah. The gunmen were firing from a footbridge close to a children's playground. This footage purports to show 2 attackers shooting from that bridge. One of them was killed, while authorities investigate whether a 3rd offender was involved.
At 9:36 p.m. this evening, I declared this to be a terrorist incident. No stone will be left unturned.
This is a targeted attack on Jewish Australians, an act of evil anti-Semitism, terrorism that has struck the heart of our nation.
11 people were killed by the gunmen and 29 wounded, including a child. Police also reported discovering a vehicle containing explosive devices in the area. In the Jewish community, shock and disbelief.
Now, when we come to celebrate a Jewish holiday, all of our best are gone down. So, there are no words.
Israeli officials accuse the Australian government of failing to curb the rise of anti-Semitism.
Anti-Semitism is a cancer. It spreads when leaders stay silent and you must replace weakness with action.
Violent attacks on synagogues, homes and cars have increased in Australia since the October 7th attack by Hamas. The Australian Jewish Association said the Bondi Beach tragedy was entirely foreseeable. Tanya Royd, RT News.
Well, New South Wales Premier Chris Minns has hailed as a hero a man who tackled and disarmed one of the gunmen. The bystander lunged at the armed attacker and wrestled the weapon from his hands, forcing the gunman to flee. Local media have identified him as 43-year-old Ahmad Al-Ahmad, a fruit shop owner who also sustained gunshot wounds through his actions. Mr. Minns said he had no doubt there were many people alive as a result of his bravery. Well, ABC News Australia report and Gelly told me earlier how people on Bondi had described what they saw.
They've described the scene as an absolutely horrific event. I've got to excuse language, but this say that they saw the gunmen essentially mow down members of this Jewish community who were there on the beach celebrating the start of what was meant to be a festive celebration. Now, you've heard there from the Prime Minister and also the Premier declared a terrorist attack, and I'm sure investigations will be going into the weeks, if not months, into working out how this scene took place. Now, just to give you a bit of context here in New South Wales, during the Israel-Gaza war, we had several anti-Semitic events take place in New South Wales that really struck fear into the Jewish community. So this seems to be the final straw for a community that's been on edge, really, for the past 18 months or so.
Well, politicians in Ireland have condemned the attack in Australia. In a statement this evening, President Catherine Connolly offered her deepest sympathy to the Jewish community, saying violence has no place in the world. And Gardaí said that patrols at centres and events for the Irish Jewish community would be increased, and said that its ongoing engagement with the Jewish community would continue in a bid to provide them with reassurance and support.
Today's shocking attack in Sydney has been widely condemned around the world, Ireland's being no exception. This evening, President Catherine Connolly said she wanted to express her deepest sympathy to the Jewish community everywhere, especially all who have lost loved ones in the attack. President Connolly said such violence is to be utterly condemned and has no place for all of us who are committed to peace. In a separate statement, Taoiseach Micheál Martin said he was shocked and appalled by the attack, which he said was targeting Sydney's Jewish community. The Taoiseach said there is no place for hatred or violence, adding what happened was evil and an example of the murderous hate spawned by anti-Semitism. Those views repeated by other politicians today.
I'm absolutely shocked and really saddened to hear of the appalling attack on the Jewish community this morning in Bondi Beach in Australia, and I just want to offer my sincerest condolences to the families who have been impacted, but to the entire Jewish community.
It's absolutely horrific, the scenes that we have seen, and I think the world is horrified. Our thoughts go out to the people of Australia, the Irish in Australia, particularly the Jewish community in Australia, and most of all the friends and family of those who are deceased. It doesn't bear thinking about it.
Meanwhile, former Justice Minister Alan Shatter has said the Irish government is not doing enough to tackle anti-Semitism worldwide.
The failure of the government to push back on that, its utter failure to confront anti-Semitism in Irish society, is a huge cause of concern. We've had the event in Manchester, we've had this tragedy now in Sydney. My concern is where next?
We have utterly and will continue to utterly condemn any type of anti-Semitic behaviour. What has happened this morning is utterly appalling.
Fia Crokiana, RTE News.
Now, still to come this evening, the funeral takes place in County Offaly of Mary Holt, who with her grandnephew Tadhg Farrell died in an arson attack a week ago.
In sport, the Camogie Club final ends in a draw. Elsewhere, it was a memorable day for Irish athletics at the European Cross Country Championships. And in the Premier League, Manchester City reduced Arsenal's lead after victory at Crystal Palace.
Welcome back. The funeral has taken place in Edenderry, County Offaly, of Mary Holt, who died along with her 4-year-old grandnephew when her home was petrol-bombed last weekend. Parish priest Father Greg Corcoran described the 60-year-old carer as someone who showed up for others when they were most in need.
En route to her funeral mass at St Mary's Church in Edenderry, Mary Holt's cortege paused briefly at Ufalia House, the community nursing home where she had worked for many years. At her funeral mass a short time later, parish priest Father Greg Corcoran said many in the area had experienced Mary Holt's love through her work there.
And you don't become a carer unless you have patience, compassion, a generous heart. Day after Day, year after year, decade after decade, Mary showed up for others when they were most in need.
Mary Holt's niece, Tiffany Judge, described the bond she had with her grandnephew, Tig Farrell, and with her other young relatives.
Mary loved family and her friends. She was happy with the small things in life.
Mary Holt was buried afterwards in the nearby St. Mary's Cemetery. A murder death and the death of Tig Farrell is continuing. Pascal Sheehy, RTE News, Eden Derry, County Offaly.
Now let's catch up on all of the sport today with Claire.
Thank you, Ray. Ireland have won 4 medals at the European Cross-Country Championships in Portugal. The men's team took silver. There was individual and team gold in the men's under-23 and bronze in the women's under-20 race. The Irish men's senior team of Brian Fay, Cormac Dalton, Jack O'Leary, Dara McElhenney and Ephraim Gidey lined up at the specially built course in Lagoa. O'Leary led the charge and the Mullingar man's surging run helped to move Ireland into bronze position. Then, in the final lap, into silver. O'Leary finished 5th in 22.25.
What an incredible run for Jack O'Leary!
With Fay 10th and Dalton 11th, securing 2nd place for the team.
All of us on the start line were absolutely raring to go, and this is, I think, the first medal for Ireland in 25 years for senior men, so it's great to be back in the podium, and please God, now we're going to stay up there for a long, long time.
Still just 20, Nick Griggs lined up for the under-23 race with 6 previous cross-country medals to his name. The Tyrone athlete put in a strong, dominant performance as he cruised to the title.
And finally, Nick Griggs takes a gold medal at the European.
Callum Morgan 8th and Niall Murphy 10th. Ireland also took team gold.
I can't describe it. I've wanted this for so long. It's so special. I'm just so proud of myself, and I'm so proud of the lads beside me.
Ireland were 6th in the mixed relay, a fall for Laura Nicholson as she changed over with Cian McPhillips, proving costly. Fiona Everard was the best place in the women's senior race in 10th place. And earlier there was more medal success when 16-year-old Emma Hickey from Wexford took a brilliant bronze in the women's under-20 race, adding to a record haul for Irish athletics in 2025. The AIB All-Ireland Senior Club Camogie final between Athenry and St Finbarrs has ended in a draw. The sides will meet in the first week of January for the replay after Athenry produced a late comeback.
After beating All-Ireland champion Sarsfields in the Galway County final, Athenry entered this looking for the first All-Ireland title since 1977 against Cork St Finbarrs, who were appearing in their first club final. The Bars had the better of the first half. I think up play between Orla Cahalane and Nicole Olden ended with a point for the latter to level the scores early on. Kerry O'Driscoll helped Athenry move 3 points to 1 ahead, but the Cork champions then hit a purple patch, scoring 5 points without reply, Ciara Golden giving her side the lead for the first time in the match. Nicole Olden added her second point to the game just moments later. She was a constant threat to the Athenry defence. Her third point of the half made it 8 points to 5. Trailing 8-6 at the break, Athenry's Eva McGlynn scored early in the second half to leave 1 between them. St Finbarrs were finding scores easier to come by, captain Kate Wall extending her side's lead to 4. They led by 6 with 5 minutes of normal time remaining before Joe Rabbit's side produced a stunning comeback. A goal from Anna Jordan left 3 between them. 2 points from place balls made it a 1-point game, and the equaliser came from Kayla Madden right at the death.
Madden's shot is up and over the crossbar. It has to be a white flag, and it is. Kayla Madden, they've come from 6 points back.
112 to 15 points, the final score. In the intermediate final, a Sarah Ann Fitzgerald goal helped Laois side Camross beat Ballincollig of Cork 114 to 110 was how it finished. Paul Walsh, RTE News.
Manchester City are back to within 2 points of Premier League leaders Arsenal. Erling Haaland scored twice in a 3-0 win at Crystal Palace.
In the closing moments here.
In the late kick-off. The problems continue for Celtic. St Mirren have won today's Scottish League Cup final at Hampden Park. Under new manager Wilfried Nancy, Celtic have now lost all 3 games. It's only the second League Cup win in St Mirren's history. They're managed by former Northern Ireland international Stephen Robinson. Ireland lost out to England in their final game of the Hockey Pro League Dublin series. The match saw Katie Mullen make her 250th appearance for Ireland. England took a 1-0 lead in the first quarter and they went on to make it 2-0 in the fourth before Caoimhe Purdue pulled one back for Ireland late on. 2-1 was how it finished. It's Ireland's 3rd defeat of the campaign. That's the sport for now. More at 9. Back to Ray.
Claire, thank you. And that's Sunday 6-1. We're back later with the 9 o'clock news. Just a quick reminder that you can catch today's edition of The Week in Politics this evening on this channel at 11:05. But that is all from us here for now. Have a lovely evening.